Yeah, they always start in the middle, just like we
Just
are
like
right
we're doing right now.
Are live. Happy birthday, Anthony!
What's up?
What's up? Let's get started.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
Goodness gracious, Anthony Melchiori. Feels really good to be back in the saddle doing a live show. And again, happy 29th birthday.
You know, you say goodness gracious, I say great ball of fire, and then I think of somebody marrying his 13-year-old cousin.
I know. I have a lot of mixed feelings about some of these old-timey artists who did inappropriate things. Didn't Elvis marry a 15-year-old Priscilla Presley or something like that? Or they
she was 16th on her 18th birthday.
Right.
No,
yeah.
18 on her 16th birthday.
Right. Different times, man. Different times.
So yeah, it's my birthday. I am I am 57 years young.
Woo.
And it's nice. It's nice that people you haven't heard from in a while kind of remember your birthday, and glad you're not dead. So it's good.
Yeah, it certainly is good, especially the not being a dead part. You're gonna go get some vegan ice cream or something like that after the show.
You know what's so funny? I feel like I've been 57 for a while because I've been saying I'm going to be 57.
Right.
And you ever meet that old guy that's like 82 and like within 5 seconds he's like, I'm 82.
Right.
I definitely think I'm going to be that guy because hopefully if God's good to me and I have good health and I stay in good shape, I'm going to be the guy who's like 70 and can like out push up everybody. So
I love it.
I think I'm going to be that guy. It's like, hey man, because I've been saying I'm 57 forever because it's a way of like, because I know I don't really look 57. No. And so people are like, oh my God, you look 57. So I always say I always say I'm about to be 57. So people say, really? You don't look a day over 53.
Yeah, totally. I'm telling you, I've been thinking about this issue for years, and I always wondered why certain women decided to say that they were younger than they actually are. I would argue you add 10 years, and then everybody tells you how amazing looking you are all the time, right?
Yeah, but with men, it's completely different. I mean,
I'm just talking about people in general.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, listen, we can get into it, but it's terrible. Listen, it is 10 times harder to be a woman than it is the men. I'm sorry for all the men out there. It's just 10 times harder. I think I told you this as a test.
Right.
I wore the same suit for the entire 9th season of Hotel Impossible. Okay, as a test. Right. And no one ever called me out on it. All I did was I have white shirt, so I changed my white shirt and a tie. And I changed the tie. And designers and people that would come on and a woman host would have to worry about their they could never wear the same dress twice.
Just think about the shoes. Jeez, I own like 2 pairs of shoes total. Yeah, I see producer Suzanne.
I wear 2 pairs of shoes. I wear the same shoes, dress shoes. I mean, until they fall apart. I mean, completely.
Yeah.
So it's good to be 57. God's been good to me, and thank you for my birthday wishes.
Yeah, happy birthday, Anthony. I'm really excited for you today. I hope you have a great time out with your family.
You know what I'm doing today? You want to know?
Yeah, I'd love to know.
A home cooked meal, and then I'm going to play softball in a 50 and over group at 8:30. Well, 9:30 is the game. I'm leaving at 8:30.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I will not be doing something like that.
Yeah, what they do is because it's 50 and over, and most of the guys are even older than me. Mm-hmm. What they do is in the 3rd inning, we all go in center field and we take a nap.
Yeah, and that part I'm all on board with. Let's get the show started. Hey guys, I'm in Minneapolis today at the Hilton Minneapolis. I'm going to be speaking to HSMAI Minnesota this afternoon. If you happen to be in the area, come on by. Come say hello. We'd love to have you join us. Also, I'm very excited because this is the home of Radisson Hotels Americas out here in Minnesota, Minneapolis area. We know we love the guys over at Radisson, and I'm going to be broadcasting on Thursday from a Radisson Red so we could really learn a little bit more about what that product is all about. So you folks out there developing products could really get a good sense from my experiences about why you're going to want to get engaged with Phil Hugh and the team over at Radisson Americas and develop a property.
And you know what? I'm gonna go behind the curtain a little bit, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Radisson's our sponsor, and they're
Yep.
very nice to us, and we're good friends with them, and you're good friends with them for a long time.
Yep.
But I asked you, why are you staying all week? And he's like, because I just want to go over and see what the Radisson Red is all about, so I can speak about it better, so I can actually be there. You're not being paid to be there. You don't need to be there. But you're literally taking a day or two out of your own life to just make sure you can back up what you're saying.
Yep.
And that's what you get when
you
sponsor the show.
That's right. So drop a note to me, Glenn, at No Vacancy News, or Anthony at anthonymelcury.com, and talk to us about some advertising. All right, talking about development, Anthony, we've got somebody here who's really, really awesome in that regard. I'm talking about Paul Breslin.
Hey, how you guys doing?
HTL, which stands for Hospitality, Tourism, and Leisure. Paul, so great to see you on air.
It is so good to see both of you, and I'm just honored to be here today. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, make sure you look at us in the camera. Well, look at the camera and don't look at us. I know you can't take your eyes off that beautiful birthday boy over there.
I will do my best. By the way, Anthony, happy birthday.
Great. When you're looking straight up, you're looking me in the eye. When you look away, you're not looking me in the eye. So even though it looked like you're looking at me in the eye, looking down at me, you're not. So look, don't even think that's there. Just keep it right there. Make believe there's a wall. I know it's very difficult because I have difficulty doing it myself. But anyway, well, thank you very much for the birthday wishes.
All right, so Horwath HTL is the world's largest, and they're really, really experienced with hotel consulting. They got 52 offices around the globe. I think you're in Atlanta, right?
Yes,
and the company's been around since what, 1915 or something?
Yeah, over 100 years ago.
Well, I know obviously you weren't there in the early days, but what kind of consulting was done 100 years ago on
it was cool. It was two brothers, two Hungarian brothers, Horwath and Horwath. They came over, and what they realized in accounting, hotels and restaurants were really set up differently.
Right.
So we were the first group to create what's the uniform systems of accounting for hotels and restaurants. And today we're on our 12th edition.
Wow.
And it's now owned by the accounting association of our industry. So, but really, Horwath was the first group to start that. So
really,
yeah.
So many people don't even know they exist. Hey, where do I get one of those? Because I used to have one and I don't have one anymore. I need another one.
I can send you one. We can get you one.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to give you my
order.
I'm going to give you my address right now.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And that'll be in the private chat box there.
Yeah, I see that.
But we don't need a lot of people hanging out at Anthony's
house. Well, especially on his birthday, they'll come.
Well, my pool is open. I have a driveway that can fit about 12 cars, and the yard fits about 100 people. So if you want to drive over to my house, we'll have a party today.
Straight to Atlanta. Yeah.
After the softball game.
That's great. So Paul, what are you seeing right out there right now today when it comes to the types of projects that are being developed? Maybe we could start with traditional hotels here in the United States and then kind of take that more global appeal, because I know you're working in places like China and other countries, Cambodia, I think, and stuff like that as well.
Well, it's funny. I'll start, since Radisson's your sponsor, I'll start with a cool one in Orlando, right next to the convention center. We just called Radisson about a Radisson Blue right there.
Oh,
big
cool.
1,000-room hotel on the other side of the highway. So you wouldn't be right walking distance to the hotel. You'd be on the shuttle path, but it's a really cool project that we hope will work out for Radisson.
So how do they think about that? Because in that particular location, we're not only talking about the convention center, but the brand new Epic Universe theme park, which has got to be, you could probably see it from the windows of this proposed hotel, right?
I think it's an awesome location. It's great for accessibility, visibility. It's right off the major highway, but yet you're really close proximity to all of the different venues.
Now, that spot you're talking about, was there a hotel there before?
There was a hotel that was torn down I think about 8 years ago. Okay. And the family that owned the land just waited. There's two new Hilton products on both sides. I want to say it's a Home 2 and a True.
Interesting.
But, yeah. So that's just kind of a one-off, but it's big. It's a big development.
Well, I think there's more Trues now than there are Starbucks.
Yeah. They're popping up like crazy. We just, other developments, something very cool and unique. We're the asset manager on the Mr. C in Coconut Grove in Miami. and they are very aggressive wanting to grow that brand. It's a luxury hotel brand from the Cipriani family. Anthony, you probably know their restaurants in New
Yeah.
York. And they, and I know, Glenn, you love good food, so you probably know them.
I do very well. I've been to certain, they also have, for those of you who know, not just restaurants, but catering type facilities.
Oh
so
my,
if you want to do an over-the-top event in an amazing venue in New York City, Cipriani's downtown is one place.
It's cool. It's so cool. They just opened up Casa Cipriani in New York, right on what was the old fire station, into a beautiful club hotel, which is very unique. And my point of bringing these up are what's happening in the industry, because the construction costs are so high.
Right.
And there's all the traditional Marriott and Hilton and IHG and Hyatt. They're all very big, but what's happening is unique, kind of hybrid, different. We were just on a call a minute ago about a very exciting Airbnb designed hotel in the Tetons, for skiing, and it's going to purpose-built Airbnb type hotel, luxury. It won't be Airbnb. It'll probably.
Okay, but hold on, back up a second. Explain to me, a guy that knows a lot about hotels, and Glenn knows a lot about hotels, and obviously you know a lot about hotels. Explain to me the difference between a luxury Airbnb hotel and a luxury hotel.
So when you arrive, every unit feels like a home, apartment, condo, but the behind the scenes, like a hotel, where we're more efficient and we can have centralized air conditioning, and we can have more managed, 65 units under one management umbrella. But every single person will feel like they've gotten a very unique home. They're not built the same. They all look a little different.
Yeah, but don't you get that? But don't you get that in a lot of those luxury hotels, like the Pelican Hill? You familiar with Pelican Hill?
I'm not, but
Pelican Hill's in California, and my friend Gerard actually runs it. And there's beautiful buildings, beautiful homes right on the ocean. All the A-list celebrities go and hide out. You can pull in your garage right into the home, and it's right on the water. So to me, Airbnb is kind of getting closer and closer to a hotel. Like, I'm hearing more and more of these products.
Yeah. I sit on the board of all the rooms, and we're fascinated the transformation and the conversions of how these things are all coming together. More and more, there are major companies getting into this sector. Marriott now has over 500 homes you can rent on their Bonvoy app.
Yeah,
we're
I
told
believe Choice Hotels has that as well.
Yeah, and this is going to be normal. What really makes them different is the technology. They could accommodate. So let's say we were going to have all three of our families do a family reunion together. Right. We could do that on the app. And Marriott, not so much, And now I think they're all seeing they've got to change all that and get into this idea of being able to accommodate these very unique requests.
Right. A little bit different, but kind of the same. Hilton put in some mechanisms in their app so you could get connecting rooms.
Yes.
Guaranteed with that within the last year.
I totally agree. That's a great example.
I was just at a very big hotel in one of the hottest cities in the country. And my friend I was staying next to, who is an executive, said, I said, "Why is the line so long?" And he goes, "Well, it's cut down by 50%. I said, "Wow, that's 50% less?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, I said, "Why are people staying here?" Well, if people can't get a connecting room or smoking room, and you have to stay in line. I was like, our app can't give you a connecting room. I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah. Well, and just to give an example, we just had a client who bought a home too.
Right.
And part of that is a PIP, and requires that by next year we have to add something like 15 connecting doors. And that it has to fit into the new technology, so you can book on your app the ability to have connecting rooms. So it's not just the product, but the technology and being able to keep up with it.
You know what I love? I'm sorry, I'm going to go off on a tangent, as I often do.
It's your birthday. You can do whatever you want.
We've been talking about hotels and brands on this show for the beginning of time, right? And it's just amazing to me that a brand can sit in their ivory tower and say, "We need a new sign. We need new doors. We need everybody to clean the room, housekeeping. We need the breakfast. We need you to do a PIP. And they don't have to do anything. I just had that moment when you said that. I was just like, of course they can push. They can point their fingers, and of course it's about keeping the brand strong, and it's good for everyone. But it's just amazing. Like, where other than the mafia, you have somebody telling you what to do, and you have to do it, or you lose everything.
I know, but they have a threat too, and it's the OTAs, the online travel agent.
Of course,
is that it's always keeping them on edge every day. It's
listen, and I blame, it's a self-inflicted wound. I'm sorry, but the third party is a self-inflicted wound. Yeah. We in the beginning of time, we let what was the guy's name from Hotels.com? Andy Pells, was that his name? Remember Andy?
Yeah, he said, you just give me your unused inventory. Well,
this is a true story, and if Andy's listening and he's still alive, I'm on 9th Avenue. I'm at the Lucerne Hotel. Yeah. This is pre-stock, okay? I got 10 shares of Hotels.com stock before it went public. That's how early on I was involved. Andy Pells, I haven't said that name in years. I'm in a car with me, a guy named Glenn, not you, Glenn, and Andy Pells.
I know because I wasn't there.
I'm on 9th Avenue, and I threw him out of my car. Yeah. Swear to God, we were taking him somewhere, and I said, get out of my car. Yeah. And I threw him out of my car. I was like, you guys are worse than the mafia, because they wanted 22% or 20%, and I threw him out of my car. Eventually, I had to do business with him, and he became a friend of mine. But I literally, the model was represented to me for the first time by Andy, and I'm like, get the hell out of my car. You out of your mind? He goes, everybody's doing it. I said, if everybody's going to jump off the roof, I'm not going with them. I don't understand. But we all had to, because they spent billions of dollars in advertising. My good friend, I was talking this morning, he called to wish me happy birthday. And I go, wow, that's a really good rate. How'd you get that rate? He goes, I went to Hotels.com. I said, you have Hotel Man on speed dial and you call Hotels.com?
Right. It is fascinating. And, they became so big that I remember the statistic about 5 years ago that before even some of the consolidation today, that their market cap was equal to Marriott, Hilton, and IHG combined.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Let's give everybody a quick history lesson based on what Anthony was just talking about. Right after 9/11, the hotel industry was kind of confused. They didn't know what to do. It was a new situation, and they didn't know how they were going to sell hotel rooms. They also weren't very sophisticated with the burgeoning internet, and most of the websites at that time were brochures that were on there. You still had to call to make reservations for the most part, all of that kind of stuff. So the third-party organizations that were a lot more tech savvy were able to provide an immediate solution to start filling up those rooms for hoteliers in the days after 9/11. Then the hotel industry could never put the genie back in the bottle after that. And ever since then, it's been kind of.
I was seeing if I still have Andy's phone number. I don't. Yeah. But what's interesting about the show is, I say what I said because I was on the front lines. Yep. Right. And you kind of in the back, kind of really transcribing what was happening in the industry. You're writing a book about what's happening in the industry, basically. And I didn't have that perspective. I didn't know what you just said. I didn't realize it was after 9/11. I didn't realize it was the internet. I just didn't realize that history was behind. I was just dealing with, this is ridiculous.
There was one other, Glenn, that was a very succinct history. I'm very impressed the way you said that so succinctly. The other thing we in the industry were thinking is, well, we want to lower our reservation costs. We thought our reservation cost was high. Now, to Anthony's point, 22, some of these people pay 30% to Hotels.com. And we gave up control of the customer. It used to be, if you wanted Sheraton, you dialed 1-800-325-3535. Right?
That's amazing. You know that number still.
Yeah. And after all these
but it was a convergence of just many, many events that caused this problem. But the thing that drives me absolutely out of my mind, I say hotels and the third parties, Hotels.com and third parties, are a limousine to your hotel. So they drive your guests to the hotel. The chauffeur gets out. You tip them 20%, is 12%, or 60%, whatever you're paying. You give them a tip. Here you go. Thank you for bringing this client that I may not have gotten. I appreciate you. Thank you. Now your job is pretty simple. Give him a card, and let him join your family. And they do that through the points. And so they were able to do that through their, all their points and things. But they still, I think hotels, especially independent hotels, I think do a terrible job.
Yeah, no, you're right. Who owns the customer, and that's a big thing. But this whole new movement of understanding when and how and where they go, because the new threat for hotels is the Airbnb. And it's not just big cities anymore. It's in tertiary markets, and so the development business today, we actually have to look at data of the AirDNA, AirDNA, or all the rooms.
Right.
And hotels are looking more like an Airbnb. You're not getting housekeeping services every day.
Right.
You don't have breakfast every day. You don't have a mini bar. You don't have room service.
Yeah.
So why not go to an Airbnb? It makes sense.
Yeah, but there is still the safety and security, the standards. There's still a lot of things that I think will keep. And my wife and I, we just got back from the Grand Lakes JW, and it's nice to go to a nice hotel where you get all the amenities and
Right.
And
Grand Lakes in Colorado?
No, the one in Orlando, and then we drove down from there down to Miami and stayed at Mr. C. And it was
if you've never gone to Grand Lakes, Colorado, I would highly suggest.
Grand Lakes, Orlando has got an incredible, magnificent lobby from what I recall. It's like, you walk in there, you're like, they still build things like this? I think it's only about a 20-year-old building or something like that.
Yeah, they just redid it. It looks beautiful.
And our producer, Suzanne, pull it up. That would be great. Give me a birthday present.
Yeah, we'll see if she can do that. But in meanwhile, Suzanne just reminded me, Airbnb's pulling out of China. They removed 150,000 rooms off their system. And another thing, guys, Paul had mentioned AirDNA and all the rooms. It's kind of like the STR, but for everything. AirDNA focuses on Airbnb, while all the rooms. I
didn't even know that. How's that work?
It's the same. You do a little subscription, and you can get all the data you want of their use, their average rates, their occupancy. It's pretty cool. And they're really good so most of Airbnbs are individual, one person, one unit, and so they help those, they call them hosts. They help all the hosts because they don't have experts like you guys on there to help them. So they use this all the rooms is really helpful for them. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. All right. So I do want to talk, Paul, I want to move on to some of the stuff that you're working on, the development, but what is the overall appetite right now for hotel development in the United States? And if you can comment globally as well. I keep hearing about that money on the sidelines for my entire career. Supposedly some of it's coming in now.
If I can interrupt that real quick, Paul, can we kind of drill down to what's happened in the last 30 days with the economy and everything? Because, that question that we've asked in the last 90 days, I think has a little bit more new meaning in the last 30 days. Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely. There is I agree with what Glenn said about the pent up demand of money and so forth. Also, we've had an unprecedented delay of development over the last 4 or 5 years because of COVID, or 3 years of COVID and the economy. And now the new delay is construction costs. So if you can pull off a new project today, new wins every time in every market. And so if you can open up a new property today, you have such an incredible jumpstart. The other thing that's happened in our industry is the development is getting a bolster because of the price per key of older hotels is so high right now that it's making new construction still an option. Before, when the prices were low, it was just cheaper to just buy, and you said, look, I can buy and renovate these, and I'm still way ahead. But to buy today is on a price, you'll pay $17 million for a home 2 105 or 110 room, Hilton Garden Inn is 21 grand. 21 million today. So it's the pricing of the current hotels is at an all-time high, and that's bringing back some new development. So I think you're going to see more efficient buildings, very innovative, different, in new locations with different types of amenities. Those seem to be our inquiries today. We're doing more feasibility studies and market studies in places like the mountains or the kind of shorelines that weren't as attractive as they weren't Miami or Miami Beach, but tertiary markets, and so it's kind of neat.
Right. So, Paul, if you could just look at us in the camera instead of
sorry about
instead of us on the screen, that'd be cool. So, when you were talking about these mountains and other places to build it, is that something that you're seeing as a sustainable change, or as we start to get back to it, will people start just going overseas more again, and then maybe go back to urban cores? What is your prognosis for mountains and lakes and ski slopes and all of those kinds of resorts?
As long as you build these destination resorts with true full sets of amenities, and they can completely handle the groups and the transient and the leisure, then I think they'll be very successful. If you try to do them on the cheap or don't offer what they really need, they'll be short-lived. I do believe urban right now is still hurting, particularly the big convention hotels, but I think they're going to roar back. I'm a big believer corporate America is going to be back. We've been doing commerce in these large conventions forever, and I think that people like people. We like to be together, and
especially, there's two sides of that coin, because especially on one hand, people aren't going back to the office like everybody thought they would. Some people are, but everybody's working. Almost everybody I know is working on flex time. Actually, my daughter, who works 2 days a week from the office, from home, actually was asked to stay home today because of the COVID concerns that are happening. So, with that said, even though people maybe aren't coming into the office, people are going to want to go to these conventions because they are working from home, and this is a way to get everybody together.
I totally agree. It's just fun. We're glad to be back. Right. And we're seeing it even in the hotel business. We've been, we went to Alice and NYU. I mean, we just finished Ola.
Yep.
And the Caribbean Investment Summit. Those are all fun, and they were packed. I mean, the Hunter Investment Conference was a record-setting year.
That was really wonderful show.
Awesome. I saw you there. I got to see you.
That's how we connected on this interview. Yes, as a matter of fact, it just took a little while to get it happening. Yeah.
What was the last convention we went to, Glenn?
That was Alice in January.
Was I there?
Financial conference we went to together.
American Lodging Investment Summit.
Yeah.
For those that.
I remember the last conference we went to, whatever it was like, it felt like full on, like everybody's ready to get back.
You talking about maybe Choice Hotels that we were at together?
No, not that one. I don't remember.
The big one, maybe the Hunter Conference, that was full record setting. I think coming up, there's a big Marriott conference out in Gaylord in Denver
next week or something like that.
Yeah, that's going to be big. And then the NYU, of course, and then the design conferences just were all happening or are happening as we speak. Those are all very successful. So it's a fun time. I mean, it's tough. And the other thing that's exciting is we have lenders who are lending. So that's always important. If you've got
what type of projects then, Paul, are people gravitating to? I'm curious to learn a little bit more insight in terms of independent properties versus the big brands that the banks love lending for. So how are you seeing that shake out? Because I know you're working on, for example, on a startup hybrid glamping brand, for example, in Utah, So some very interesting stuff.
Yes. And what's interesting, we're seeing is the fastest growing is like the soft brands, the Autograph Collection by Marriott or the Curio by Hilton, because you get the best of both worlds. You have all the Bonvoy or the Hilton Honors, even IHG just came out with their new soft brand. And so this, or Hyatt does Unbound. And I think I can't remember what Radisson does in theirs, but
Let's not forget the Ascend collection from Choice, which was the
yes,
first.
Ascend they've been probably one of the longest running ones.
They were the first ones. I remember when they introduced it. I want to say 2009. I totally could be wrong.
You know where they introduced it? You know,
I remember they introduced it at an annual conference at Mandalay Bay.
No, but one of the first ones was in New York City, right next to the Staybridge Suites.
Oh, cool.
Called the District.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's with a K, right? In District.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
So that I think is really interesting because you get the distribution, the reservation system and the reward program, but you have very unique hotels that give the people that boutique lifestyle feeling that it's something very special. And so I see that as
it's interesting. I just got off the phone with my friend who's in Florida, and he's staying at a Curio hotel. And he's like, this is what he said. He goes, this is only a 3-star hotel. I was like, no, it's probably maybe you saw it somewhere. He goes, but it feels like a 4-star hotel. I said, well, it is a 4-star hotel because I know the hotel. And he said they have housekeeping services every day. The food and beverage is amazing. And the service is amazing. And it's in Florida. And I go, are you sure you're staying in a hotel? It doesn't sound like 2022 right now. And he goes, no, it's great. And he's paying like $400 something a night for it. And he goes, what's Curio? He asked me, he goes, what's Curio? And I explained it to him. So it's amazing because he is staying at this really cool boutique hotel that he thought he found and is special and nobody knows about.
right.
Part of a system that helps it stay at a standard that he is used to, because he's kind of a fancy guy. When we go out, he's like he's the guy that's he's kind of fancy. And so he is getting the value of the hotel, and because it's a soft brand, he doesn't realize it's a brand because he probably wouldn't have booked the brand.
Right.
If it was a regular Hilton, he wouldn't have booked it.
I like them because they're a really good conduit to be able to use the companies that come to top of mind in my head when I'm planning travel, but still have that independent experience. Right. Paul, for so many years, I would forget about independent hotels and I'd just stay at the traditional one.
Yeah.
And I'd miss out on some of those special experiences that really connect with me. So now that all the companies are done great with their soft brands, there's always an option anywhere I'm going to do that.
I'll tell you one we're doing that's in that same space that we're really excited about. It's called West Alley. It's going to be built in Roswell, Georgia. So Roswell, Georgia is literally a suburb of Atlanta on the north end. And it happens to have a really strong restaurant district. And so they're building this hotel adjacent to the restaurant district. And it's a Kimpton. And if you guys know this, but for the audience, the Kimpton has always been known for its boutique hotel, but a very special restaurant.
Yep.
And so this is going to be killer. We're probably going to do kind of a Persian, Mediterranean seafood concept with a rooftop bar and just incredible. And that's going to be, but you're backed by IHG's new reward program and
IHG One Rewards.
Yes. And that is going to be, I think, and they're also opening up a new Kimpton in Atlanta called the Wade. And that's going to be fun. So I think these, fun is still fun, safe, clean, basics.
The critical part of these hotels is that we don't put them in the hands of people that have been running the brands for 30 years, that they're people, general managers and salespeople and revenue managers that really understand that the second that you start to put it in that kind of funnel of branding, and I won't mention what brand, but there's a very, very fancy brand that got into one of the brands, and it's just not the same. And we all know who it is.
Sounds like Glitz.
What's that?
I think that relationship
sound like Glitz a little, but it's not.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about, and I think that relationship is ending. Completely separate. Quick history.
Really? Is it? I didn't know that.
If we're talking about the same thing,
rhymes with Glitz.
Well, please correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think it's Bill Kimpton who started Kimpton Hotels and Restaurants. Yes. Now, a lot of people give Ian Schrager credit for the boutique hotel movement, but simultaneously on the West Coast, Bill Kimpton was really creating what we all know as the boutique hotel kind of universe. out there.
Absolutely brilliant. Those and also, what's the name of the guy who went with Airbnb after he was?
Yeah, he's from California.
Yeah.
He
He wrote.
I just
He
did a
wrote a
panel with
book.
him. He
Yeah.
wrote a couple books. You know what we're talking about? Ashwada Reeve.
Yeah.
Chip Connolly.
Chip Connolly.
Yeah.
Chip Connolly. He is a fascinating guy. If you haven't had him on the show,
We have. I don't know if we've had him on since we've been doing the show together, though, Anthony.
oh, that would be fun.
I got to reach out to Chip. He's a great guy. And what I love about what he's doing is he reinvent himself, right? And now he's like the elder statesman kind of guy, which is really cool.
Paul talks about wisdom. I think his book is wisdom, right? Mm-hmm. Like you and wisdom.
Yeah. So go on. What were you going to say, Paul? I didn't want.
Anyway,
I think it's actually a good friend of the show and a good friend of mine. Larry Broughton was kind of the guy that helped build all that.
Yes.
Yeah. Those guys are really where, and I agree. Just to go back to your point, Anthony, is make sure that you have somebody who understands lifestyle and embraces it and be different, and because you're not trying to be a cookie cutter brand. You're trying to be really different.
It drives me nuts. This was before Marriott got involved with the Algonquin, so it wasn't Marriott's fault. But I think Marriott did a lot it's an autograph to Algonquin. I ran the Algonquin for a while, and they did a lot for it. And when they said it was going to be an autograph, I was so excited for them because I knew it would do well. But before I believe Autograph got involved, they got rid of the Oak Room, and the Oak Room to me, I can literally start crying like a baby. The Oak Room was the difference between that hotel and the hotel next to it, or the hotel down the block. I mean, we're on the Algonquin's on Hotel Row. You're on 44th between 5th and 6th. You're on Hotel Row. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 or 9 hotels on that one block that nobody knows. You have the Iroquois. You have the Morgan Group Hotel, the Royalton Court Street. You have the Sofitel. You just have so many hotels, and they got rid of the legendary Oak Room. And I thought, and now you go in and it's just an empty space, and I want to kill myself every time I see it. It's horrible. No. But it's a great hotel. It's a great product. But that to me was the separation of that hotel.
I know. Well, you guys remember the Red Book? Remember before the internet?
Explain that to people, please, Paul.
Yeah,
sure. So before the internet, if you were a travel agent and you wanted to know, if somebody said, "I want to stay in Arizona," but you'd open up this giant book called the Red Book, and it was a description of every hotel in America and around the world. But it gave you everything you needed to know about that hotel. Which you would get on the internet today, that's
pretty crazy.
It is crazy. I've been teaching hotel management at Georgia State for 16 years now, and I have a collection of these old books from back then. I show it to the students. They're like, "What is this? Why would you?" Because they've never lived without an internet. They have no clue.
Yeah, these digital natives experience the university.
I had my daughter who's 22. I said something. It's like, well, we used to stop at the gas station and get directions. She's like, you didn't always have the internet? And she's 22. She's not 7.
Right.
I was like, no. I mean, you kind of were like forming when the internet came up. Like it was like you kind of remember. Like you didn't have an iPhone or tablet when you were 5.
Right.
So I don't know.
You got to challenge her to the rotary phone test. Put it on to see if she could use it.
Yeah, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
A great video.
But it's true. It's just true. But if you go back to, I talked about the story. David Malilly, who's a good friend of mine, he was CEO of Pegasus. He ran Open Hospitality. He literally, I'm sitting at my desk at the Lucerne Hotel on 79th in Amsterdam, and he worked at the Belvedere Hotel. He came for the same owners. He came into my office. He tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, "Hey, I'm opening up a company. We're going to build reservation systems for hotels."
Oh,
and wait. And this is what he said. And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah, we're going to build reservation systems for independent hotels." And I go, "No one's going to put their credit card on the internet."
Right.
Okay.
You heard the prediction right here.
So I said, "Good luck and God bless you." And he went on and built a multi-million-dollar company.
Really?
And, but like that's how we're not that old, but that's how young the internet is.
I know. So what's the future, guys? Where do you think what should we be investing?
I think that's a question I should be asking you.
No, I like when our guests ask us questions.
All right, so you
what's
answer,
the future of what? What's the future of what?
Like, what do you think? Whether you just said Pegasus, and where do you think? What is our next big change for our industry? Where do you think we're going to go?
I think personally, Glenn, and I haven't thought about it outside of the last second that you asked the question, but if I had to guess, that there will be, each hotel is going to have the ability to book my reservation for me instantly. That they're going to have a system that we can have access to each individual hotel's reservation system, and we're not going through a third party. We're not going through a brand. We're going right to that hotel, or maybe right to that brand almost instantly, where we're not even going to look for it. Like we put in, we're going to travel and we want to stay at Marriott. And all of a sudden Marriott goes, okay, to 26 to 27 to 189 confirmed. Kind of like Amazon. Like right now, ask me to buy something from Amazon, and I guarantee you, if I grab my cell phone, I can buy it in 13 seconds.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So I think the same thing is going to happen in travel. I don't know.
I think you're onto something there. I think so. Right. I think the way you do Google search today, it's just whoever pays the most gets the highest.
Right.
I think eventually that's going to flip, and we're to where Anthony's going. It's going to be more about you and what your buying patterns.
Right.
It'll be more quantitative and qualitative.
And it's going to be instant. It's going to be confirmation. Yeah. Just press this button, and this is the rate, and this is the room, and it's going to be instant.
Kind of like the buy now feature on Amazon is what.
Yes, it's like you bought these things, so you may like this, that kind of thing. I think that's the big one.
All right, so Paul, I will give you my answer on this. I'm gonna take it to the property level, and I've recently launched a 12-part hotel tech influencers and innovators podcast series with my good friend Michael Frankel, who's an insider. First, for those of you who know, first episode is with investor Lee Pillsbury. You know him from Thayer. And Raj Trivedi is the second guest. And I'm going to be recording a show today with Rafat Ali, who runs Skift. So I'm learning from all of those guys about the future of technology is really about reinventing from the ground up how technology is going to be utilized in hotels, really unifying all these disparate systems in not just a trying to get them to work together way, but I see a whole rise of companies that are going to be building in all these functionalities across a whole panoply of, of things within the hotel. So it can be through one company via the cloud, really simplified, that makes training super duper easy for people that are coming and going within our hospitality industry. So I think that combined with what Anthony's saying on the customer side, it's all technology in the future. How do you see it, Paul?
Yeah, I agree. I think the more we use technology and privacy of it, so that we're not sold to the highest bidder of who we are, but really designed in a way that allows us to personalize our experiences at the property level. I love this. The simplest version of it today is when they text you before you arrive, and you're connected to the hotel. It's so brilliant because, if you need a towel or if you need a late checkout or anything you need, it's just boom. It's super simple. And just imagine that.
We had the technology 10 years ago. We should have been doing this 10 years ago. It's kind of like, when Delta, confirms your flight and then says, do you want to upgrade? Or it says, it's a different gate, or that, we're changing, we're changing it, whatever it is. It's like, I know what's going on instantly. Why can't we do that at hotels? It's like we're 10 years old,
particularly at these resorts where if you find out from a friend when you stay at a really nice resort and you say, did you have the such and such cocktail, or did you eat the such and such? And you're like, no, I didn't even know. I didn't know any of that. And that's such a shame that people will not know, or, just trying different things. And, and the same goes for the tourism side of our business. I think that's going to become more and more personalized, where the more you feed it privately, and then it returns back to you.
Yeah, listen, they have our information, so I want them to use it where I'm booking a hotel in Florida, and somebody says, "Oh, so and so stayed here. Your friend, he stayed at this hotel, and he enjoyed this, item and that item,
Love
and
that.
maybe you should like I wanted you have my information anyway, and it's out there. You may be spying on me right now,
Yeah.
so use it to something I can use. Use it where you can. That's your complaint forever, Glenn. It's like people they follow you, but they're not selling you stuff that you want to buy.
Yeah, no, I agree. The other thing that's I think going to be future is true wellness, not just
Yep.
for the wealthy, but we have to change the way we see ourselves, being more active, more physical, eating right, truly being healthier in our travels, because it can eat you up. If you remember the days when we all traveled to death, I think that's changing. I think now there's balance. I love these things in the airport. I think more of that's going to be very real, where you have a delay or you're not afraid to have a delay at the Atlanta airport because you could go get a massage or you can
Right.
really get some wellness. So I think there's going to be some of that in our future.
So one question coming from Gordon, with such an instant digital signature coming into hospitality, how does a company set itself apart with luxurious customer service? And I would say luxurious customer service means something different to everybody.
Right. I think that's it. Personalize, ability to personalize. I just hired a virtual assistant through a company called Belay.
Mm-hmm.
And they put me through training and screening and interview questions before I even went out to interview the candidate. They matched me to so I was really surprised that I think that's going to be more of the higher level as you move up. The diamonds and the people who they're going to want to know more about you. Really, do you really like asparagus or broccoli? Do you,
Right.
what do you do? What's your favorite health exercise? And how do we make, Pelotons, personalizing Pelotons so it travels with you, televisions personalizing
Cool.
to you, all that personalizing stuff I think is very real. Fun stuff.
Yeah, it's listen, I think what luxury is instant gratification. Period. Everybody wants everything instant and they want it, they don't want to wait. The older I get, the more anxious I get when I have to wait for anything.
Right.
And whereas before, maybe I have a lot of patience for a lot of things, but I don't have patience for waiting for someone to pick up the phone or somebody to confirm a reservation, or I just don't have patience for it. With the technology we have today, I shouldn't have to have patience for it. And I think with what we've all been talking about, that the service industry has been decimated. Even before COVID, we're having problems. Now it's gone. I mean, the way we service hotels, it's gone forever. So if we don't use this technology, you're not going to be able to get that level of service. And I've always been challenging people that whether you run a 3-star hotel or a 5-star hotel, you should still have that level of service that's instantaneous, that is comfortable, and then you're taken care of. Why do we have to have a star in front of our hotel to have better service? The star is for maybe a better bed, maybe better linens, maybe better uniforms, maybe more restaurants, maybe bigger convention, whatever it is. But that star shouldn't be tied to a human being.
Right. I mean, it's I think going back to, we're going to be all new. Everyone that we see today, the turnover in our industry was devastating. But the new people coming in want to be here. They're, we're seeing it even in the students, and they're like, hey, I want to be in hospitality. I don't want to be. I want to work with people. I want to be in the business. And that's refreshing, because before it was, I think we need more of that. We need to show people this is a great career. Much better pay today.
Oh yeah, that is for sure. So Paul, funny that you should bring that up. It's a perfect segue. Dr. Producer Suzanne came up with our final question today. Based on your experience in the industry, your knowledge of the past, and your ability to predict the future, what advice do you have for the new entrants into our industry for achieving success?
Number one is get a great mentor or multiple mentors.
Mm-hmm.
Be passionate about what you do. Don't limit yourself. Even if you're working for Hilton, go visit your competitors. It's not about being isolated. Broaden your thinking, be open-minded, try new things, go experience new things, and have a lot of fun.
Beautiful. I love.
Yeah, but your ability to predict the future. I didn't realize you had that ability. According to Dan, you do. That's amazing.
Yeah. As long as it's just 2 minutes from now, because once we
No, but listen, it's we've said it before, and it is. I don't know the right word, Glenn, but I'm sure you'll find it for me. But it's an extremely good time to want to be successful in the hospitality business.
Yeah,
You can go from being a housekeeper to be CEO. You can be hired on Monday as a housekeeper and be CEO by Friday. So now's the time to get in.
Wait a minute, the housekeepers are CEO. They're ruling us, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I know. But it's just an amazing.
It's a great time.
It's an amazing time to be in the hospitality business. But it's never a good time to be in the hotel business or a hospitality business if you don't like to work. So it's never a good time. You have to work.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Paul, any final thoughts before we let you go? And feel free to throw out a shameless plug for Horwath.
No, well, Horwath, we're a pretty well-known hotel consulting company. If you need any help with your development, call us, please. We'd love to help you. But I just want to thank you guys. This was so much fun, and I love your energy. Your show is awesome. And
Thanks.
Thank you for this.
You can predict the future, but you can't look into a friggin' camera.
Yeah.
I keep looking at you. I love your haircut. All
right, Paul. We'll get you back. We'll get you back on here again sometime soon. All right.
I'll practice this. I promise.
It was a pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Rock, Paul. Thank you. All right. Now, before we wrap up, Anthony, I do want to say that producer Suzanne did get that picture. Let me bring that up. Here's the lobby that we were talking about.
Is this what hotel is it?
That's a JW Marriott in Orlando, in Grand Lakes, Orlando.
Is that in India?
No, it's in Orlando, dude.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah, not bad, right?
Yeah, especially like you said, nowadays they don't build lobbies like that.
No, it's like one of the most impressive new buildings.
Can I see it again? I don't know why you took it away so
I don't know what I was thinking. Let me hit the share button.
You were thinking.
No, I very rarely do.
And isolate it by itself and get rid of us two clowns.
All right, hold on. I'll isolate.
There you go.
There we go. Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, that is a pretty lobby. Yeah, that lobby does not look like lobby they built today. You're right. I mean, that fountain, somebody is going to budget that out of the lobby typically.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's wrap this up for today. Anthony, happy birthday.
What time was I born?
9:17.
6:05 a.m.
Damn it. I was born.
Where was I born?
Brooklyn.
Long Island Hospital in Brooklyn. Right where you get on the Gowanus at J Street, I believe, right around there. They're building an apartment complex. Oh, no, they're building another new hospital, whatever. So, I was born in Brooklyn at Long Island something hospital. And I was the last baby that the doctor delivered. He retired after me.
Oh, I thought, he's just like, I can't do any better. That's it.
He dropped the scalpel. He said, perfection has been had. I'm good. I'm done.
That's amazing. All right, everybody. Be sure if you're watching us on video, hey, if you can't watch every day, you're busy out there, why not listen to us on audio? Find us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, wherever you prefer to listen to your shows. That's where we are. And if you're listening to us, why not give us a shot? Watch us on video from time to time. You can find us on our LinkedIn accounts, YouTube, Facebook, all those regular types of places.
And that's not the reason he retired. I lied. When he slapped me, I slapped him back.
Yeah.
I go, what are you doing? Oh my God. Off air, ask me about my Saturday night dinner. Holy shit.
All right. I will do that. All right, everybody. We're going to get out of here right now. Remember, you've got one life, so blaze on, and
be kind to yourself.
We'll see you back here for another live show tomorrow.